The thing is that
Okay.
whenever a substance is in motion, it has got an energy that is called as kinetic energy. Remember that. Okay. Okay, then moving on. Water cycle. We have talked about them. By the way, how much percentage of water is stored under the ice? Huh?
What, sir?
How much percent of fresh water is stored in the ice?
0.94%.
0.94 percentage. I'm talking
Like,
about fresh water. Fresh water. Out of the fresh water,
sir,
how much percentage is found under the ice?
available fresh water,
Yeah, available fresh water.
it's 0.94.
No. Look here. We had, like, we distributed water on the whole earth. Like 97% is there in the oceans. Rest 3% is fresh water, and out of that 3% fresh water also.
68.7.
Exactly. It was somewhere around 68.68%. That is stored in ice caps and icebergs or glaciers. The rest 37% is under the groundwater. Getting it, guys? That is what I was talking about actually. Okay. Also, like how much percentage of earth is covered with water?
71%.
So 7.
71%. Good. Okay. What were the 4 stages involved in water cycle?
So
Evaporation,
condensation,
condensation, perception,
precipitation, and collection.
and then collection.
And then collection of water. Very good. So where the collection of water going to be more? In the rural areas or in the urban areas?
So in the urban areas.
Urban areas, sir.
In the urban areas, collection of water that basically means that it needs to travel back to the water bodies and to the water table, groundwater.
The
Rural.
rural area.
Rural.
Right now, so collection of water, either the water travels along the surface and gets accumulated in different places, like it will be getting accumulated in lakes, rivers, or oceans, or under the ground, right? So here we get to see that the amount of water in this way is getting regulated on the earth right now. The amount is regulated in this way. If there is no collection of water, then it means that the amount of water is not regulated. It is being lost somewhere right now, but that is not possible, right? So it is also because earth has got its own atmosphere. Earth has its own atmosphere that also has got a role to play in the regulation of water in here in the earth, right? So another thing is groundwater, which we'll be talking about here. Ground water. So what are the sources of groundwater, by the way? And simply, how do we define groundwater? And where does it come from? Like, yes?
So from the ground. From the ground.
From the surround. From the ground. Yeah, obviously under the ground. It is groundwater simply means under the ground. Water that is available under the ground. Look here. Whatever water falls, okay, on the earth's surface, it slips back inside the earth and gets accumulated in the cracks and gaps present between the rocks present inside the earth. Okay, as we see the soil, the composition of the layers of soil is also not same. The lithosphere, that is the topmost layer of the soil on earth, as you dig deeper, the composition changes. Right on the top layer, you have got the soil, and then you have got the sand particles, and then you have got rock particles, and then you have got the bigger rock particles, and then rock bed is there. Right now.
Can you repeat the point?
Yeah, I'm basically saying that what happens, groundwater is nothing but it is the water that falls on the earth's surface and then slips or percolates inside the Earth's surface and gets accumulated between the cracks. Let me draw a diagram, then it will be more clear. Okay, now suppose this is vegetation here. Vegetation and some plants are there, right? And then say this is a water body here. Suppose a lake is there, right now. Okay. And then suppose there's another layer of soil here. There's another layer of soil. Okay. And then suppose there's another layer in which you have got sand and rock particles. Sand plus rock. So it somewhat looks like this. These are the rock particles. And then you have got the small sand particles in it also. Okay. Now below that, you have got the bedrock. Okay. Now bedrock is what now? Bedrocks are nothing but simply these are the bigger pieces of rocks like this. Like this. These are what? These are bedrocks. And at some places there might be gaps between the bedrocks like this here. This is a gap between the bedrock. Okay. Now you know that soil allows percolation of water. Right now? Yes, guys. Soil allows percolation of water. Percolation is simply passing of water from one medium to another. Getting it
Yes,
now?
sir.
So there you have got the water body and this is the vegetation. So when there is rainfall, the water particles, water will start to percolate through the soil and then it will go to the next layer of the uh, of the um, of the soil here that consists of sand and rock, and then after that also it will percolate, and then finally in the gaps between the rock bed it will be stored. So that is simply groundwater. Getting it now?
Okay, sir.
Now the level at which the groundwater is
Can
present,
you explain again?
the thing is that what happens now whenever there is precipitation or rainfall, whenever there is rainfall, water percolates through the layers of the earth's surface. Basically it percolates. Percolates, you know what does percolation mean? Percolation or infiltration, both are same thing. There's a term here, percolation of water, infiltration of water. It simply means that the process by which the water accumulates in the groundwater by traveling through the pores present between the soil. Let me write it here.
Like the
I s-
process of seeping of water into the ground.
Exactly, that is the one. That is the thing which I am talking about here. So it is the process by which water accumulates into the ground by traveling through the pores present between the soil particles. Is it clear, Sundus and Chakrika? The
Yes, sir.
pores present between the soil particles. So normally, even if you have to just a handful of soil in your hand, you will get to see that water can pass through it. So between the soil particles, there is empty spaces in which there is air particles are present there. Okay, now. So it is basically gap between between them. So water can percolate through them very easily. So that is percolation simply, right? Now you get to see now that these bedrocks are what? Like if you try to pass water across a rock, will the water pass through a rock? Obviously no. So they are impervious in nature. The bedrock that you are seeing here now, they are impervious rocks. Impervious is simply that type of material which does not allows water to pass through it. Thereby, water will float over it. Water will be getting accumulated over it. Yes, guys, is it getting clear? Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Got it.
here groundwater is simply what? Groundwater here. Also, if you were to see this groundwater, it is filling the space that is present between the soil particles and between this rocks also. Getting it now? Okay then. Also, like
Sir, can
what
you
is
just repeat what you said now?
I just said that groundwater here is filling the space between this soil particles and between this impervious rock, that is the bedrock. So there's a
Okay, sir.
space between them, and that is being filled by the groundwater, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so groundwater, it is the water that fills the space between the soil particles, and the bedrock. Okay, further, there's a term that is water table. What does water table mean? Hmm? Water table is simply what? Yes, anyone who has got any idea what is water table? It is simply now the upper limit of the layer of water present beneath the earth. Simply, the level at which groundwater is found in a particular area will be called as the water table. In some
Sir, like
areas,
the level of groundwater and below the surface of the earth.
exactly. The upper level of the groundwater, that has been called as the water table, and it can vary from one place to another. Okay, now, yeah.
Okay,
Am
sir.
I visible or not? I just got disconnected from here. Give me a moment.
Yes, sir. You're stuck.
Oh, okay. So water table is simply the upper limit of the layer of water. Let me write it over here. Also, guys, keep making your notes.
Sure, sir.
The upper limit of the water present beneath the earth. That is simply water table. Now, guys, you guys tell me, will it be same for all the areas or will it not vary from one place to another? Like
Sir,
places
it
where
will
there is,
vary.
obviously, like places where there is scanty of rainfall or places where there is too much rainfall. Okay. So from one place to another, it will be varying. Getting it now? So I said that it varies from one place to another. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me join once more. Also, like, it's not just the water that percolates from the soil. Water from the lake or the ponds or rivers can also percolate through the earth and get accumulated in the groundwater. Suppose there's a crack that develops from here to here. Suppose there's a crack that develops from here to here. So through that crack also water may seep into the groundwater. Getting it now? So it's not just the soil particles or the layers of the earth alone through which the water is percolating. It might also be getting through the water bodies. Yes, guys?
Got it, sir.
Okay. Now, there is a term called aquifer. Just I'm trying to join but unable to join from my computer. Give me a moment.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Aquifer. Now, aquifer is what? Aquifers are simply the underground layer of rocks that contains water present between their cracks. Now, what do I mean here? Look here. Aquifer, in order to understand that, look at the previous figure here. Okay, let me draw a fresh one here.
Sir, like the groundwater that is stored in between the layers of hard rock.
Exactly. As I said, no, it's simply the underground layer of rocks. Guys, I'm unable to join from my computer. Okay, now.
Okay,
Don't know,
sir.
there's some technical issue there. So aquifers is simply what? It's the layer of rocks that contain water present between their cracks. Like there's a layer of rocks, and in between that, there will be cracks like this. There will be cracks like this. This is crack in the rock. And in that crack, water is present, right? So this here is no layer of rock, and in that layer of rocks there can be numerous cracks, and those cracks are basically empty. Those cracks are what? Those are empty. And then water, when it percolates through the layer of soil here, then the water will be getting accumulated here also. So that water has also been termed as what? We call them also as underground water, since they are found under the ground, right? Hope it is clear now. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so aquifer, let me define it here. It is the underground layer of rocks that contain water. And where is it present? Between their cracks. So it contains water which is present between the cracks. Between the cracks found in the rocks. Yeah, Chakrika, is it clear? And Sundus and Vaiga?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that is
Yeah,
all
I
about
didn't understand.
aquifers. Look here. Aquifers are what? It is simple thing about aquifer is that it is the underground layer of rock. So this here is a layer of rock present beneath the ground, and in that large piece of rock, you have got several cracks in it. There are several cracks inside it, and in that several cracks, water accumulates, and these cracks are called as aquifer. Earlier, in the case of this type of groundwater, you had water that is present between the layer of soil and between this impervious rock. That was also groundwater, but here you have got cracks only inside the rock only. These cracks are not somewhere else, but present only inside this rock, and they are called as aquifer. Getting it now or not? Is it clear or not?
Yes,
Please
yes,
let me know.
clear.
Okay, so that is all about aquifer. Now talking about how can we obtain the groundwater? What are the ways in which groundwater is obtained?
So, like the wells.
Well, the most common method. So how to obtain what else?
And then I guess the hand pump.
Hand pump is there, good. Okay, so generally you have got the wells or you have got the hand pumps. Nowadays, hand pumps are not used because the level of water has gone down now. So we use electric pumps instead of that. Getting it now? So electric pumps are
Yes, sir.
nowadays used right now. What are some of the uses of the groundwater, by the way? In what purposes we are using them? Yes. Yes, guys. Groundwater, how it is used? In what purposes it is used? Like there's a variety of purposes, no? Many people directly drink it also for the purpose of drinking. Okay, these are normal things, but are usually asking the questions. And domestic work, it is used. Okay, washing of clothes, irrigation of crops, for that purpose also we use it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, irrigation of crops is there. Washing of clothes. Okay, And what do you think? In firefighting, what type of water will they be using? Will they be using the mineral water? No. They simply use the
No, sir.
groundwater. For
Okay, sir.
firefighting, they use this type of water. And in the industrial purposes also, it is used. Getting it now? So that is all about groundwater. Now, recently, in the previous
So can you go to the
previous
previous
decade,
slide once?
will you, yeah, Chakrika, will you please repeat what you just said?
Nothing, sir. I just asked you to go to the previous slide, but yeah, yes, sir. Now you can
Okay.
continue.
Okay. Now let's talk about like how this water table is now going down. The water table now is going down. Hmm? Earlier, like water could be found at like a lower just by digging like 40-50 feet, but in certain places where the water was available like 10 years ago at 50 feet, now it is the person has to dig wells or dig wells like up to 120 feet. We have to go down 120 feet or 150 feet. In some places you have to go down more than 200 feet ground down the ground in order to get the water. Why is it so? Because the water table has depleted. So the thing we are going to study now is water table depletion. Getting it now? So if we like
Yes.
keep on taking out water, if we keep on taking more water, then it is being recharged by the rainfall. Then the water table is going to go down, obviously. We know that in the case of water cycle, the amount of water is regulated, right? So in the fourth stage, that was the collection of water. So the water was getting collected into the water bodies and in the underground water. Suppose, let's say, 1 lakh liter of water was present in the underground in a certain region. Okay, this is your underground water. So let's suppose just take a figure here. 1 lakh liter of water is present somewhere. Have taken this figure in just to give you an example. Now, if I were to take out half lakh or like 50,000 liter of this, okay, 50,000 liter of water, people are taking it out. Okay, and then why the rainfall 50,000 of the water is being recharged. So the overall amount of water present in the underground remains same now. Let me repeat. 1 lakh liter of water is, let's suppose, present in the underground in a given region. Okay, na guys. Now suppose people living there are taking out 50,000 liters of water in a given period of time. Okay. Now, why the rainfall? 50,000 of liters of waters are going to this underground water, thereby maintaining the 1 lakh liter of water in this underground water. So the level of water will be balanced. It will not go down because it is being recharged by the rainfall. Now, suppose the population of that place increases and the people now start to take, let's say, 80,000 liter of water. Then will the water level be same or will it not go down? Yeah, because if people were to take 80,000 liter of water out of 1 lakh liter, then 20,000 liter of water is only left here. And why the rainfall only 50,000 of liter water is added to it. So that means 70,000 liter of water is present now rather than 1 lakh liter of water present earlier. So the water level is supposed to be going down now. Earlier, let's say 1 lakh liter of water was at this level. Are you guys able to connect it or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the water table has gone down because it now consists of only 70,000 liter of water. So that is how, with the increasing population, with the increasing needs of humans, the water table is going down right now. So we have
Sir,
been
increasing
continuously,
of population is also a threat to the world, right?
exactly. Increase of population is the biggest threat to the world. Getting it now? That's why That's why there are like natural. But the thing is that Earth has always managed to maintain the balance. Ever since there's some disbalance in a given area, it will like neutralize that in some way or another way. Hmm. Why the natural disasters, why the earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, right now, things are being balanced. If you get to look at it, things are getting like
Sir,
balanced.
sir, can I just go for 5 minutes and come back?
Okay, okay. Getting
Okay,
it
sir.
now.
Thank you.
Okay. So the water table of a place we see it might decrease but not increase. In rare cases, it is seen to be increasing. So the water table of an area might decrease because of increased consumption of water. Getting now, because of increased consumption of water. So we are taking out more water the water than the water that is getting replenished due to rainfall. So increasing consumption is one of the major reason to it. Why there is an increased consumption? Because the population is increasing. What other factors are there, guys? As the population of a region will increase, then the demand of the fresh water also rises. So
Yes, sir.
underground, we know underground water is like one of the source of fresh water right now. Like
Yes, sir.
60 almost 68% of fresh water is in the solid state, that is stored in the ice cups, icebergs right now, or snowbergs, while only 38% is present there. And out of at 38%, we have got what? How much percent as underground? 30% as the underground water. Getting it now? So this is a source of fresh
Yes,
water
sir.
now. So as the population increases, and we know we humans only use the fresh water. We don't use the saline water. So as the population of the area is increasing, the demand for fresh water also it is rising very
So,
sharply. Yeah,
so but then we can also use the saline water by filtrating them, right?
exactly. We can use that, but the process to treat this saline water is very expensive. The process is very expensive, and the technology has not been made economical now. But then in future, people will be left with no option but other than to treat the treat the saline water. The it has been always said that the in the upcoming days wars will be fought for water. Hmm. It is being said
Yes,
that like in the future war there will be wars for water right now. Okay, then we get to see that number of different types of places or like construction activities are also increasing. As the population is increasing, then population demands what? Population demands spaces, more space.
Yes, sir.
So that means there has to be, because space is limited now. You can't expand
Yes,
the earth now. We can't expand the earth. So what we have to do? We have to do construction of multi-story buildings. We have to do construction of multi-story buildings. And it is the construction work that requires the maximum amount of water, right? There are some other activities also where huge amount of water is required. Getting it? Or you see the water that is reaching you, sorry, the paper that you are using, that also is a water intensive process that also requires a lot of water. Getting it,
so
guys?
what's the heading of the concept? Water table?
Water
depletion
table,
of water
water
table.
table depletion, that is the
Deplete.
heading.
Okay, sir.
So population is increasing here, and so the need of fresh water is also increasing. So we say that requirement of fresh water is increasing as the population is increasing. And then we say that
Yes, sir.
more and more construction work is now being done. So for construction work also water is required.
Yes, sir.
What else? What are the reasons you guys can think of where water
So
is?
like global warming, deforestation.
Global warming directly, it's not impacting it. Okay, because in the case of global warming, if you were to post that as a reason, in global warming, we get to see that icebergs and polar ice caps are melting, thereby leading to more and more flood and increasing the temperature of the earth. In some cases, it is responsible, like if the temperature of the region increases, right now, then thereby
Yes,
it
sir.
might affect the water cycle.
Proper rainfall.
Exactly.
So
Getting it now.
deforestation.
Deforestation is also one of the reason for it. Very good.
And I
Deforestation is there, or
agriculture activities.
exactly agriculture activities also. Getting it now. As the
Yes.
population increases, there the agriculture activities will also be increasing. Okay, guys, do suggest some of the methods in which water can be saved in agriculture activities. Like earlier, people used to have methods in which too much of water were being wasted while irrigating the crops. But nowadays, we have shifted to other means where lesser amount of water is used while irrigating the crops. Can you name them? What methods do we use now? Hmm? Like earlier, we had
So I guess like
traditional methods. Mhm.
rainwater harvesting and drip irrigation.
Drip irrigation, good. So drip irrigation, providing water directly to the base of the plant, drop by drop. Okay.
So
Earlier,
like
no, people, yeah,
rainwater harvesting will come.
exactly. Rainwater harvesting has to be done. Okay. Government should be, by the way, giving subsidies to the people who install rainwater harvesting plants at their home. Okay. At many states, it has been done. Like if you were to install rainwater harvesting plants, government will do it free for you, and government will also be providing you some subsidies, some amount right
Okay,
now.
sir.
So public effort combined by the government initiative will give the best result. So it's not only just up to the people to take the steps. Government should also be providing subsidies and taking a steps for these things. Okay now,
Yes, sir.
right? So all this process is doing what? In all this, we get to see as the demands is increasing, usage of groundwater is also increasing. And if you were to compare the usage of the groundwater and replenishment, hmm, which one is more here? Usage is more, obviously. Yeah. If the
Yes,
usage
sir.
is more than the replenishment, then the water table is obviously going to go down, right? Then you have got like low rainfall in certain areas also. We
Sir,
know. Mhm.
sir, but then replenishment is mostly not in our hands. So, so that we can reduce the usage, right?
Exactly. We can reduce the usage, or we can like do what? Like as we discussed, like rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting helps in recharging the groundwater table, right now.
Yes, sir.
So there are means and activities that we can adopt so that we can act, if not reverse it, but we can keep it balanced. Usage equals to replenishment, then the water table will not go down, right now. As in the case of agricultural activities, if you were to shift towards the drip irrigation right now, or in the increasing or in the case of industries, if you were to move to methods where lesser water is consumed right now, thereby we can also ensure that replenishment is being done right now. And then one of the other factor responsible for water depletion is low rainfall also. And low rainfall is directly associated with the deforestation right now. So if there is a deforestation in that region, what will happen? Look here. Plants, the roots of the plant, they hold up the soil, right? A mighty single plant can hold up several tons of soil. An old tree is spread over a large area. The
Sir,
roots are spread over a large area of a tree. Yeah.
So that the transpiration won't happen, the
The transpiration?
process won't happen.
No, the transpiration will happen. Now, look here. Look here. The thing is now, if you were to talk about the roots of the plant, it is spread in the upper layer of the soil only. It does not penetrates up to the bedrock. Getting it now? So for transpiration, the roots are taking up water from the top layer of the soil only. So transpiration is going to happen. Okay, because the water that is being taken up by the plant, it is present in the top layer of the soil only. But here we are talking about underground water that is found where? Either it is found in the aquifers or either it is found between the soil and the impervious rock.
Yes, sir.
Getting it now? Yeah, Chakrika, is the doubt clear?
So can you say again?
Yeah, I am saying that as I was about to draw this diagram here, look here, this plant here, okay, the roots are spread over a large area. Okay, that is the root of this plant, and it is spread in the top soil layer only. The roots are spread in the top soil only now. So the plant will be able to get the water, thereby it will be able to perform the process of transpiration. It won't have effect. But here we are talking about water table. That is the level of groundwater at which it is present. So groundwater is way beneath this top soil layer. Getting it, Chakrika?
Yes, sir, I get it.
Okay, so the plant gets water from the top soil only, not from the underground water. Because if that were to happen, it might lead to some problems right now. Also, the thing what I was trying to say here, in some areas there is low rainfall or scanty of rainfall. Okay, so generally in that area, the groundwater level is generally low. We know that a plant can hold up several kilos or several tons of water of soil particles. If you ever to lift a plant from the soil forcefully, soil particles will also come alongside. Right now, if you ever try to pluck out a plant forcefully from the ground, you will get to see that several soil particles are attached with the root hairs.
Yes, sir.
Right. So plants, they do what? They hold up the soil particles. Thereby, whenever there is a rainfall, the soil particles will not flow from that area to another area. The soil particles will remain there because it is being held up by the roots of the plants. Getting it, guys? Thereby, water will percolate there. But had there been no plant there, then with the flood water or with the rainfall, that soil particles will be carried from that area to the another area. Thereby, there will be lesser percolation in that area. Getting it now? Thereby,
Yes, sir.
deforestation directly impacts the rainfall, and rainfall impacts the level of underground water also. Okay now. So that is all about water table. Yeah. Any confusion so far? Yes.
No, sir.
Now, if you were to talk about like the distribution of water that is across the earth, why is it not even? Why it's like that at same level you get to have groundwater in each and every area, or why there is not equal amount of water available everywhere? For example, if you were to go to states like Rajasthan, there is a lesser amount of water
So,
available there.
so there is less amount of rainfall.
Exactly. While if you were to go to Chennai or Mavishram, there you will have being like those are the regions with the highest rainfall. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cherrapunji in the Mavishram, it receives the highest
So,
amount of rainfall in India. Yes.
so, but then sometimes it also depends on the usage of the population, right? Like how
Exactly.
much the state uses.
Yeah, that is also responsible. Because some of the states has got more consumption, some of them has got lesser consumption. Okay now. But the thing is that when we talk about like groundwater, its level, the level is being influenced by several factors, right? But out of all the several factors, humans have done more harm to it. Okay, humans are the one who are consuming it at an alarming rate right now. So human consumption also needs to be regulated in some places where there's a dense population. So obviously there's going to be more usage of groundwater, as we have said that as the primary cause for it. Here, as we said, that increasing consumption due to increasing population. Getting it now? But if the population is increasing, then in that case, what can be done? Yeah, it's not like the population has to be decreased. In over that, we have got we have got no control. Getting it now? So that is it. What it is, what it is. Getting it now? So we need to develop alternative methods in order to reduce the consumption of water. Getting it? So what I was trying to say here, that the amount of water across the earth is not even due to different factors. As I said, here in India, like in Mavishram, there is a highest amount of rainfall. Yeah, while in certain parts it is very least. In the parts of Rajasthan, for example. So the amount of water is being influenced by factors like rainfall or the climatic condition over there. Right now. So in India, Rajasthan, as I said, it gets very low rainfall and hence have very less water. There, less water. Thereby, the soil there is also very less fertile. There is a least amount of vegetation present there. Hence, thereby it leads to several problems in the state. While places like Meghalaya, they receive high rainfall right now. So in some parts of the India, you are seeing that there can be a flood-like condition, while some people are suffering from drought-like condition. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
getting it now. Okay. So also there's a concept of like water management. Hmm. Like no matter whether a place receives a high rainfall or low rainfall, water management is necessary so that we ensure that everyone gets access to the fresh water or just to have adequate amount of water. Getting it now? So adequate amount of water, everyone needs an adequate amount of water, and that can be ensured whether whether that area receives a high rainfall or low rainfall. So generally, you see, the civic authorities of that region, they are responsible to supply every household with a fixed amount of water. Yes, like you have got the municipal corporations in every districts, right? You guys know what is municipal corporation? They are the civic authorities. They are the civic authorities responsible to look after the welfare of the people living in that region.
Okay, sir.
Talking about water management. Water management is what? As I said that no matter whether a place receives a high rainfall or it receives low rainfall, every person has got a minimum usage of water, right now.
Yes,
So
sir.
everyone deserves to get a adequate amount of water for their daily usage, right? And who ensures this? Who has the responsibility to look after this? It's generally the civic authorities of that region. Their responsibility is to look after that every person gets a adequate supply of water. Getting it now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these peoples of the municipal corporation, they what they do? They have got a they have developed a very well structured pipeline system. Like you guys might also be having a well pipeline system in your cities. Yes. Does the water from the municipal corporation come to your houses? Like in some parts, it is there in India, and in some state, it is not there. Yeah. Yes, Chakrika. So usually we see that there's a pipeline system well spread over the town, and why that pipeline system? What is provided to every house and building of that area? Yes. So
Yeah, sir.
this,
Yeah, sir.
so not only this is the responsibility of the civic authorities, but their it's not just they have to supply water to the people living in that area. They also need to look after that if any water is being wasted right now, or if
So
some pipe. Hmm,
like if the water is dirty, they could.
exactly. Yes, at several places now, like the pipeline is passing through the drainage. Okay, like if the pipe breaks there in the drainage, then the drain water is mixing there now. If there's a hole in the pipe and that pipe is passing through a drain, then the drain water is supposed to be mixing in that. Thereby, the polluted water will be reaching our households. So it's
Yes.
the work of the civic authorities to look after all this. So first, their function is to provide or build a well structured pipeline in the locality. Plus, they also have to check for wastage of water. Also have to repair the broken pipes. Getting it, guys? Okay then. Yes, Chakrika. So
Yes, sir.
here apart from civic authorities, like we also have our own responsibility. Like we should always be having eye on like whether like how much of what is being spent for what purposes, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then comes the concept of like water harvesting, or simply like rainwater harvesting. Yeah. So how rainwater harvesting is being done? Like, have you seen houses where rainwater harvesting is being done? Like, it is somewhat like this. This is the house. Okay. So water that is being collected here. So water will be being collected here. Suppose the water is coming out from here. So it will be collected into a tank, into the that is under the ground, right? Okay. And that tank, the bottom of the tank is not made of concrete. The bottom of this tank is not made of concrete, so that water can percolate into the soil. So that is the concept of rainwater harvesting. Hmm. So the rainwater
Sir, can
that
you
falls
explain
on the
again?
earth. Yeah, sure. I'm about to explain it. So the concept of rainwater harvesting is that the yeah, sorry. So the rainwater that falls on the earth, it is, you see, generally what do we do that? It is generally allowed to go away in any direction, right? But it can be saved and used to replenish the groundwater, groundwater levels of the earth. We can replenish that. So in this process, what do we do? We store the water that collects on the roof of our houses, right, or roof of different buildings. Okay, and we basically collect them in this tank here, and why this tank water percolates into the ground. That is a simple concept of rainwater harvesting. And the bottom of this tank is not made up of concrete. It's not made up of a concrete, so that the water is able to percolate. So this helps in replenishing the groundwater, right? Also, if you were to like, you can also we can also store some amount of rainwater for a variety of purposes, for washing our cars, for watering the plants in the garden. You can store it also. So you can use it for domestic purposes also, like you can store it in a tank, right? And that water stored can be used in gardening or washing your car. Getting it now? So that is all about the concept of rainwater harvesting. Nothing too complicated about it. Okay. Now earlier also, like the practice of rainwater harvesting was being done. The concept of rainwater harvesting is not very new. Okay. In old times also, rainwater was being collected in certain structures. Okay. For example, like you had this structure of bodies, BAWRIS. I will attach an image of this in the next class. You will get to have a better view of it. So in ancient India, you will get to see that there was a practice of storing water. Okay,
Yes,
in
sir.
which
Like it was a like
Hmm.
step by step.
exactly. So bodies were constructed in ancient India. Okay, so through that bodies, rainwater was collected there. Okay, but with time, the use of bodies have declined. Okay, now due to like scanty rainfall, people are again now using this. Although its use like decline, but several bodies have been revived. They have been brought back to life. Brought back to life means they are now again being used. So the ancient people also were aware that groundwater table needs to be recharged. They were also aware of this. Getting it now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. What other methods were there in which water was being like conserved? Yes.
Rainwater harvesting,
Hmm.
drip irrigation,
Drip irrigation is there.
and all this.
Bodies is there. Right. There are several other methods also. Right now, by like some doing modifications in the plants that are being used in different industries. Okay, like in the industry, several industries, like you have example of like leather industries. Yeah, leather industries. You have got the textile industries. Okay, you have got the chemical industries where the fertilizers, pesticides, etc. are being manufactured. There, the waters are also being used at an alarming rate. Now, if we were to switch to alternative methods, develop alternative methods which consumes lesser amount of water right now. So thereby we can also ensure that lesser amount of water is being used. So then comes now the concept of water conservation that we have been talking about so far. So water conservation, it will include all the policies made by the government, all the strategies designed by the government, and the activities to sustainably manage the natural resource of this